So to be honest, when I came in, the 4 letters next to my name was really the motivator. I'd had some experiences in my career where it really looked like it was going to be necessary to have that moving forward. Once I got here, though, there were some things that I learned I just didn't know enough to know what I didn't know coming in, and some of the classes, especially on the administration side, were completely invaluable.
I graduated from UC Berkeley in 2008 with a political science and mass communications degree, knowing I wanted to go into some sort of, political field or policy field. And then upon graduation, I was accepted into a fellowship program at the state capitol in the state assembly, which is administered through the Center for California Studies through Sac State. And so I worked in the legislature for a year, just learning everything there is about politics and policy here in California, and then was hired on afterwards. So that's how I kind of got involved in politics and policy.
In terms of my professional background, I really didn't have much experience at all before coming to Sac State, at least not in the government realm. And then in terms of my education, I attended a small private university in Southern California. I majored in psychology, and then I picked up a minor in political science.
Well, I started as a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and I earned my multiple subject teaching credential here at Sacramento State. And I'm working, I started working with the state as an analyst, thinking that I wanted to start exploring policy and policy analysis.
I got my undergraduate degree in political science, and I had an emphasis in public policy. And I've sort of always had an interest in public policy and was able to pursue that through an internship in Washington, D.C. So that's my educational background. And then after graduating, I kind of hit the typical post-graduation slump and wasn't quite sure what to do with my degree in this sort of economy, and just started working in whatever job I could, and that happened to be Abercrombie & Fitch, and I took over a store doing retail for about 3 years, being a manager there and just sort of growing my leadership experiences there.
I received a bachelor's in political science from Roanoke College in 2005, and after graduation moved out to California to pursue a career in the hospitality management. And after 6 years in hospitality management, I realized that it wasn't really what I wanted to be doing with my life. I really wanted to pursue a career that allowed me to help others in need and to really make a difference by improving government.
I did my undergraduate degree at Long Beach State in political science. I interned for the California Conservation Corps for a couple of years. I developed a policy manual for them. I also volunteer at my community's Catholic church. I was doing some outreach for them for the senior program. I also most recently worked at an aerospace manufacturing company doing policy compliance.
I went to UC Santa Cruz for my undergrad, graduating in 2009, and so I entered straight from undergrad into this program. My work experience was typical of any high schooler, a couple of summer jobs, working on campaigns locally in Santa Cruz, but the majority of my life I've just been a full-time student.
Sacramento is where you need to be if you want to do public policy in California. On top of the opportunities to be a practitioner, just the people that you're here with who are doing it every day, those interactions are just completely invaluable.
I remember there were a couple of classes that I took during my undergrad in political science that just really turned me on to some of the issues and some of the complex problems that we face in government and ultimately in society. And so I just really want to pursue a career in government and have a career that is challenging and that is rewarding for me.
One of the things that motivated me to get a master's in public policy administration is knowing that this career would be one where I could make an impact in people's lives in analyzing and changing policy and determining what laws or policies would benefit the people. So just knowing and having that sense that you're doing something that helps people out.
Working as a teacher, you're often limited by what decisions are made at a level that's higher than you. And I realized at that time that the only way that I'd be able to influence what really goes on in classrooms and in education in California would be to pursue a master's degree.
I had the opportunity to do some lobbying for tobacco tax campaigns in my home state of Virginia, and so I had a real interest in the political process and as well as how policy became possible. So it went from the stage of just being an idea to actually being implemented and going through not only the legislative process, but then going to an administrator somewhere who had to figure out how to make it work.
I suppose it was my experiences in Washington, D.C. I interned for a lobbyist and we did a lot of policy work there. I'd always had an interest in it, and I value education a lot, and I thought going back to school in this economy was a perfect opportunity.
Graduating college, I knew I wanted to further my education, and so I started looking for the kind of program I'd want. I knew political science was very theory-based, economics was very applied, and I thought public policy and administration just seemed like a great mix, a way for me to learn about how to really serve my country, while also, gaining some practical skills that you can't really pick up in the workplace.
While working on my political science degree, I became fascinated with the idea that government decisions very much influence people's lives and how those decisions are the result of a very complex process. I want to be able to be part of that process and help decision makers make right decisions by providing them with my expertise.
Working in the political field and seeing how rushed a lot of decisions are and how sometimes not a lot of thought goes into, what is the best policy, what's the best way to solve this problem. It's just kind of more, what is the benefit to me as a politician if I vote for this? And so I was just really kind of looking to get more into the policy side of decision making. And I thought this master's program would be a great way to do that.
I think there's a few reasons. The first is that the location is ideal. Being in the state capital, in the state that has one of the largest economies in the world, from a comparative level, to be in a place where the action is happening made a big impact to me.
I stayed at Sacramento State because you have faculty here that have experience, they've done research, you have diversity of skills and knowledge base, and I wanted to have an opportunity to access that information and tap into their knowledge.
I wanted to stay in California, and what better place than to pursue public policy in our capital. I thought I would have the most opportunities in Sacramento, and that's definitely turned out to be true.
Most programs offer either a public policy focus or an administration emphasis, but not both. And so I like that this one had a hybridness to it.
There's many programs which are either public policy or public administration, but this hybrid program is more helpful and useful for those in it because you get to learn the best of both worlds and not only one.
Secondly, the reputation that this program has in the Sacramento region is just phenomenal. All the faculty and staff are very well regarded and very well connected within the area.
I figured moving up to Sacramento might give me a really good chance to get some internship experience and hopefully some job experience.
I also knew that coming to Sacramento was going to be very beneficial for my career, especially because this is one of the biggest government hubs in the country, and I knew I was going to be able to probably get opportunities for a career in the public sector.
People asked, why would I want to go back to Sacramento? Well, California is the most powerful state in the country. It's a nation unto itself. And I knew that coming back and trying to get into that state government was, a great task and something that, somewhere I could excel and work hard and learn a lot.
I've just heard so many wonderful things about it. Working in the Capitol, there's a lot of longtime staff there that either went through the master's program or teach here at the master's program. And so I just know it's super credible, great faculty, wonderful students.
And I knew that the program was a night program, that it was built around people working full-time. And the ability to work while I was learning and apply some of the things in the workplace, that's what really attracted me to Sac State.
Third, I liked the idea that it was a combination program of public policy and public administration. So it allows students to get not only a feel for the policy making process, but also the policy administration process.
I really appreciate just being able to have conversations with my peers and with the professors about some of the big problems that we're facing in government. I think just to be able to be a part of something that is productive and meaningful, where we can kind of find solutions.
We have students here that have a variety of experience. The guest speakers have been wonderful. We've had guest speakers come in from the Legislative Analyst's Office, Department of Finance, who have years of experience in public policy, and I don't think I would have had that opportunity if I went to a different school.
I particularly enjoy the group projects that occur in a lot of the classroom settings across the program. It allows you an opportunity to work with people from various backgrounds throughout state and local government and get a lot of different perspectives.
The classroom activity I've enjoyed the most here is the lively class discussion that our faculty encourages. We gain a lot from the perspectives of our peers, so I think that's very beneficial in order to learn how different people see things. Also, the out-of-classroom activities that I enjoy the most is visiting our wellness center, because it's wonderful. There's a lot of things to do. We like to play racquetball after class every week, and we also do rock climbing, which I think it's very fun.
The classroom activity that I have enjoyed the most has just been the general discussion around policy and politics, and just the debate that goes on. There's people who have very diverse views, so much more different than your own. So it's always interesting to see why they believe a policy should go one way or whatever the case is. So it helps you better understand your policy as well.
Outside the classroom, I really enjoy a lot of the group activities that not only our program, but the individual cohorts put on, from social gatherings to policy discussions to events in the Capitol that we get invited to through the connections within the program.
We hang out outside the classroom, and we actually go have a drink here and then. We go out to dinner, so we have a good bond between the people in the actual class.
What I really enjoy about the program is that we are able to work very collaboratively with our peers, because I think that mirrors what happens in the real world a lot, having to work with a lot of different stakeholders who may or may not have the same opinions or perspectives as you.
We go through a lot of long weekends, 9-hour days that are terribly difficult at the time, but you look back on them and they're what builds the camaraderie within the program and the cohorts. And so you do enjoy them, as you look back on the program. Out of class activities, we go out to happy hour once a month at least. There's a party at the end of each year at the director's house, and that's always just incredibly fun. And even looking back, the first pizza party we had that introduced everyone to each other, these are all things that I've really enjoyed about the program.
I just love Sacramento. I describe it as kind of a best of both worlds sort of thing. It's a good-sized city with lots of urban, cultural fun, all the things you go to the city for. It also has the feeling of a much smaller town than it is. Everything's so much closer, cheaper, easier. It just adds so much to the quality of life.
I like the small, big town feel to the city. There's very many fun things to do. There's little mom and pop restaurants and bars, and also historic sites to visit.
I grew up in Orange County. I lived in the Bay Area for my undergraduate degree, and so it was a little bit of a change because I feel Sacramento has more of a small town feel, but that's actually what has grown on me and what I've become drawn to.
Not only is it incredibly convenient because of the political closeness that we share with being in the state's capital, but also the proximity to other locations around the Northern California area.
There's the river. You can drive a few hours and go skiing to the beach. You can always get on the highway and go wherever you want to go. Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it living in Sacramento.
There's a lot of professional opportunities in Sacramento specifically, especially for public work, public service.
Sacramento is where all the legislation happens, is where they introduce all the policy. It's where all the organizations and agencies are located, their main offices. So for our program, it opens up a lot of opportunities.
I actually would like to, live here after I graduate.
Sacramento's been incredible. Being in the capital, it's a place that you can find a job in what you're studying. And then on top of that, I grew up in Sacramento, and so I've seen it grow. And over the last 10 years, there's been an emerging art scene. The live music has been incredible. The restaurants are open late now. Sacramento is a place you can enjoy yourself, and it's centrally located to the Bay Area and skiing, if either of those are what you're into. And in itself, it's a place you want to be. There's a lot of parks in Sacramento, there's trees everywhere. It's a fun place, it's healthy, people walk, people enjoy each other, and it's a small community with a big town feel. I love it.